Have you ever looked at dry, cracked ground and assumed it could never produce a meaningful harvest? It certainly seems unlikely, yet some edible plants are perfectly adapted to thrive in scorching heat, poor soil, and long periods with little or no rainfall. While many familiar vegetables struggle or die during drought, these incredibly resilient crops continue growing and producing nutritious food with surprisingly little care. In this video, you'll discover 7 amazing drought-tolerant edible plants that provide nutritious leaves, fruits, roots, or seeds while requiring very little water. Some of these remarkable species have supported people living in desert regions for centuries, while others may already be growing unnoticed in gardens all around us. Even more surprising, several of these plants actually perform better when they're left alone rather than receiving constant attention. If you're tired of watching your vegetable garden suffer through every hot, dry summer, these incredibly hardy survivors may completely change the way you grow your own food. 1. Purslane. Most gardeners consider purslane nothing more than a stubborn weed that appears where it isn't wanted. They pull it out without realizing they're removing one of the toughest and most nutritious edible plants available. What many people dismiss as an unwanted nuisance is actually an incredibly productive food crop capable of thriving in places where many traditional vegetables simply cannot survive. Purslane is perfectly suited to harsh, dry environments. Its thick, succulent leaves function as tiny water reservoirs, storing moisture that allows the plant to continue growing even after long periods without rainfall. While vegetables like lettuce, spinach, and many other leafy greens quickly wilt under intense summer heat, purslane remains fresh, vigorous, and productive throughout even the hottest part of the season. Its impressive drought tolerance comes from its remarkable ability to conserve water. Rather than rapidly losing moisture through its leaves, purslane carefully regulates water loss, allowing it to survive while rainfall remains scarce and temperatures continue climbing. This natural adaptation has made it one of the most dependable edible plants for gardens located in dry climates. Although it may look simple, purslane is surprisingly flavorful. Its succulent stems and crisp leaves have a refreshing texture with a mildly tangy taste that works wonderfully in salads, sandwiches, soups, stir-fries, omelets, and even smoothies. In many parts of the world, people intentionally cultivate purslane as a valuable vegetable instead of treating it as a weed. Its nutritional profile is equally impressive. Purslane contains exceptionally high amounts of omega-3 fatty acids, along with vitamin C, magnesium, potassium, antioxidants, and numerous other beneficial nutrients. Very few leafy vegetables combine such outstanding nutrition with such remarkable resilience. Another reason purslane succeeds so easily is its incredible ability to reproduce. Tiny seeds scattered across the soil germinate readily, while even small stem fragments left behind are often capable of producing new plants. Once established, purslane frequently returns year after year with little or no help from the gardener. Unlike many vegetables that demand frequent watering, regular fertilizing, and constant attention, purslane almost seems to prefer being left alone. Dry soil, blazing sunshine, and difficult growing conditions rarely slow its growth. In fact, giving it too much care often proves less beneficial than simply allowing nature to take its course. Today, more gardeners are beginning to recognize purslane for what it truly is: a highly nutritious, drought-resistant crop capable of turning difficult growing conditions into dependable harvests. Sometimes the plants we spend years trying to eliminate are actually the ones best equipped to feed us. 2. Prickly pear cactus. Few edible plants symbolize survival in dry climates better than the prickly pear cactus. Perfectly adapted to some of the harshest environments on Earth, this extraordinary plant can survive for months without rain while continuing to provide food, beauty, and dependable harvests. At first glance, prickly pear hardly looks like an edible crop. Its thick, paddle-shaped pads are protected by sharp spines, giving the impression that the plant exists only to defend itself against the unforgiving desert. Yet, beneath this rugged appearance lies one of the most valuable food plants cultivated throughout arid regions across the globe. Its greatest strength is its remarkable ability to store water. Every fleshy pad acts as a natural reservoir, collecting moisture whenever it becomes available and gradually using those reserves during long droughts. While many garden vegetables wilt rapidly under intense heat, prickly pear continues growing with almost no visible signs of stress. Its root system is equally impressive. Rather than growing deep into the soil, it develops an extensive network of shallow roots, capable of capturing even tiny amounts of rainfall, dew, or brief showers before the moisture evaporates. This highly efficient strategy allows it to flourish where very few edible plants can survive. For countless generations, people living in desert environments have depended on prickly pear as an important food source. The young pads, known as nopales, are harvested, cleaned, and cooked as a vegetable. Once prepared, they develop a mild flavor, often compared to green beans or asparagus, and can be grilled, sautéed, roasted, or incorporated into countless traditional dishes. Its colorful fruits are equally valuable. Depending on the variety, they ripen into brilliant shades of red, orange, yellow, or purple, while offering a naturally sweet flavor, along with fiber, antioxidants, vitamins, and many other beneficial nutrients. They can be eaten fresh or transformed into juices, jams, syrups, desserts, and candies. Perhaps the most remarkable feature of prickly pear is how little attention it demands. Once planted in a sunny location with excellent drainage, it requires very little care. In fact, excessive watering is usually far more harmful than prolonged drought. Poor soil rarely slows its growth, and extreme heat presents almost no challenge. Unlike many demanding crops, prickly pear quietly continues producing edible pads and fruit while asking for almost nothing in return. For anyone hoping to grow food with minimal effort, prickly pear demonstrates that productive harvests do not always require rich soil, constant irrigation, or endless maintenance. Sometimes the plants best adapted to difficult conditions become the most rewarding crops of all. 3. Jerusalem artichoke. Jerusalem artichokes, better known as sunchokes, are among the most dependable edible plants for gardeners dealing with dry soil and unpredictable weather. Although their name suggests a close relationship with globe artichokes, they actually belong to the sunflower family, producing tall, leafy stems above ground while developing nutritious underground tubers that can be harvested year after year. One of their greatest strengths is their ability to flourish with almost no maintenance. Once a planting becomes established, it often continues growing vigorously for many seasons without needing to be replanted, making it one of the easiest long-term food crops available to gardeners. Their deep and extensive root system allows them to reach moisture hidden far beneath the soil surface. Because of this adaptation, Jerusalem artichokes tolerate drought much better than many traditional root vegetables. While potatoes and similar crops often struggle during prolonged dry spells, sunchokes continue developing with impressive reliability. Their productivity is equally outstanding. Even a relatively small planting can gradually expand into a large colony capable of producing generous harvests of edible tubers every single year. In fact, many gardeners joke that planting Jerusalem artichokes is incredibly easy, but removing them later is nearly impossible, because even tiny pieces of tuber left in the ground readily produce new plants. The tubers themselves have a pleasantly sweet flavor, with mild, earthy, and nutty notes. They can be roasted until caramelized, sautéed with herbs, mashed like potatoes, sliced into salads, added to soups, or prepared in countless other recipes. Their unique taste, excellent nutritional value, and dependable harvests have made them increasingly popular among gardeners interested in growing more of their own food. Cold weather presents almost no problem for these hardy plants. Throughout winter, the tubers remain safely protected beneath the soil, where freezing temperatures rarely cause damage. As soon as spring arrives, vigorous new shoots quickly emerge, beginning another productive growing season. Jerusalem artichokes also adapt surprisingly well to a wide variety of soil conditions. Sandy ground, heavy clay, neglected fields, and poor quality soils rarely prevent them from producing abundant harvests. Few edible crops are as forgiving or dependable under challenging conditions. For this reason, many experienced gardeners describe Jerusalem artichokes as the perfect plant once, harvest for years crop. With their exceptional drought tolerance, remarkable productivity, minimal maintenance requirements, and dependable ability to return season after season, it's easy to understand why they have earned such an outstanding reputation. 4. Rosemary. Although most people recognize rosemary as a fragrant culinary herb, this evergreen Mediterranean shrub is also one of the toughest perennial food plants you can grow. Native to dry, rocky landscapes where rainfall is often limited, rosemary has naturally evolved to thrive under conditions that leave many other herbs struggling to survive. Its outstanding drought tolerance comes from several remarkable adaptations. The narrow, needle-like leaves are specially designed to minimize moisture loss, allowing the plant to conserve water during extended periods of hot, dry weather. Strong, woody stems, combined with an extensive root system, further improve its ability to withstand drought, making rosemary exceptionally well-suited to difficult growing conditions. Beyond its remarkable durability, rosemary is also incredibly practical. Its aromatic foliage is harvested to flavor roasted vegetables, meats, breads, soups, sauces, infused oils, herbal teas, and countless other dishes. A single mature shrub can continue supplying fresh sprigs year after year, especially in areas with mild winters. Interestingly, rosemary often grows best when gardeners resist the urge to give it too much attention. Overwatering is one of the fastest ways to damage the plant, because constantly wet soil encourages root rot. Many beginners accidentally weaken rosemary by caring for it like thirsty vegetables, rather than treating it as the drought-loving shrub it naturally is. Provide rosemary with a sunny location and fast-draining soil, and it becomes almost completely self-sufficient. Once fully established, mature plants frequently survive on natural rainfall alone while remaining healthy throughout long dry periods that would stress many other herbs. Its usefulness extends far beyond the kitchen. During the flowering season, rosemary produces clusters of delicate blue, lavender, or pale purple blossoms that attract bees and other valuable pollinators. Its dense evergreen growth also makes it an excellent hedge, decorative border, or ornamental landscape shrub. Perhaps one of rosemary's most impressive qualities is its incredible lifespan. Healthy plants can survive for decades, and throughout parts of the Mediterranean, centuries-old rosemary shrubs continue thriving with little more than sunshine and occasional rainfall. For gardeners looking for an edible perennial that combines beauty, fragrance, resilience, and dependable harvests, rosemary remains one of the finest choices available. 5. Fig tree. Very few fruit trees combine exceptional productivity with impressive drought tolerance as successfully as the fig tree. Cultivated for thousands of years throughout warm regions of the world, figs have earned a reputation as one of the most reliable fruit crops for dry climates. Native to the Mediterranean and the Middle East, fig trees naturally evolved in environments where water is often scarce. Their extensive root systems reach deep beneath the soil surface, allowing mature trees to tap into hidden reserves of moisture long after the upper layers of soil have dried out. Thanks to this remarkable adaptation, established fig trees continue growing and producing fruit even during long periods of intense heat and drought. While many other fruit trees begin showing signs of stress under these conditions, figs often remain healthy and highly productive throughout the season. The fruit itself is both nutritious and extremely versatile. Fresh figs are soft, naturally sweet, and rich in fiber, antioxidants, minerals, and beneficial plant compounds. They can be enjoyed straight from the tree, dried for long-term storage, baked into desserts, or transformed into delicious jams, preserves, and many other homemade treats. For centuries, dried figs served as an essential staple food because they stored exceptionally well while providing concentrated nutrition. Even today, they remain one of the most cherished fruits in many parts of the world. Another reason gardeners appreciate fig trees is their extraordinary productivity. A mature specimen can produce hundreds of fruits each season, while requiring significantly less irrigation than many other popular fruit trees. Interestingly, moderate drought often improves fruit quality. Slightly drier conditions frequently produce sweeter, richer flavored figs, whereas excessive watering may result in larger fruit that lacks the same depth of flavor. Fig trees are also remarkably adaptable. They grow successfully in sandy soils, rocky ground, and areas with relatively poor fertility. As long as they receive abundant sunlight and well-drained soil, they continue rewarding gardeners with dependable harvests year after year. Even when branches are damaged by harsh weather, fig trees recover surprisingly quickly by sending up vigorous new shoots from the base. This impressive ability to regenerate has helped make them one of history's most dependable, food-producing trees. Throughout many ancient civilizations, fig trees became symbols of prosperity, abundance, and endurance. After seeing their remarkable resilience and generous harvests, it's easy to understand why they earned such lasting respect. 6. Mulberry tree. Mulberry trees remain among the most overlooked fruit trees, despite being some of the easiest, toughest, and most productive plants a gardener can grow. Fast-growing, highly adaptable, and exceptionally resilient, they often flourish in places where many other fruit trees struggle. Once established, a healthy mulberry tree can continue producing abundant harvests for decades, while requiring remarkably little maintenance. One of the primary reasons for its success is its extensive root system. Deep, spreading roots allow mature trees to draw moisture from far below the soil surface, helping them tolerate drought, intense summer heat, poor soils, and even strong winds much better than many traditional orchard trees. When harvest season arrives, the results can be extraordinary. A single mature tree often produces more berries than one household can consume fresh. The fruits resemble elongated blackberries and may ripen into shades of white, red, dark purple, or nearly black, depending on the variety. Mulberries offer a delicious combination of sweetness and gentle tartness, making them perfect for eating fresh. They are equally well suited for pies, jams, smoothies, baked desserts, dried fruit, syrups, and countless homemade recipes. Of course, birds quickly discover these delicious berries as well. Another reason self-sufficient gardeners highly value mulberries is their independence. Once mature, natural rainfall is often all that's needed to keep the trees healthy and productive. Even during prolonged drought, established mulberry trees continue growing and producing fruit with surprisingly little stress. Unlike certain fruit trees that require many years before producing their first harvest, several mulberry varieties begin bearing fruit relatively early. Their rapid growth, combined with early production, makes them especially attractive for homesteads, food forests, and low-maintenance edible landscapes. Historically, mulberry trees provided much more than fruit alone. Their leaves served as the primary food source for silkworms, their wood had many practical uses, and their broad canopies supplied valuable shade in hot climates. Entire communities once depended upon these remarkably versatile trees. Another outstanding characteristic is their incredible ability to recover from adversity. Heavy pruning, storm damage, and difficult weather rarely keep mulberries down for long. They quickly respond by producing vigorous new growth, demonstrating a level of resilience that few fruit trees can match. For gardeners seeking generous harvests with very little effort, mulberry trees prove that some of the easiest crops to grow can also become some of the most productive. 7. Moringa. Very few edible plants have earned the nickname the miracle tree, yet moringa comes remarkably close. Celebrated for its extraordinary nutritional value and exceptional resilience, moringa has become one of the world's most important drought-tolerant food crops. Native to the dry regions of Africa and Asia, moringa naturally evolved under conditions of extreme heat and extended dry seasons. Once fully established, it continues growing vigorously in environments where many other edible plants struggle to survive. Its impressive drought tolerance begins with its deep taproot, which reaches far below the soil in search of moisture. Combined with its small, highly efficient leaves that minimize water loss, this adaptation enables moringa to flourish even during long periods without rainfall. Perhaps its greatest strength, however, is its extraordinary versatility. Nearly every part of the tree can be put to use. The leaves are especially prized because they contain high levels of protein, vitamins, minerals, antioxidants, and numerous other valuable nutrients. They can be eaten fresh, cooked similarly to spinach, or dried and ground into an exceptionally nutritious powder. Moringa also produces long seed pods, commonly called drumsticks. These tender pods are widely used in traditional cuisines and frequently added to curries, soups, stews, and vegetable dishes. Even the seeds themselves have practical value, including their well-known use in natural water purification. Another remarkable feature is the tree's astonishing growth rate. In warm climates, young moringa trees can gain several feet in height within a single growing season. Despite such rapid development, they continue thriving under dry conditions with remarkable ease. Moringa also responds extremely well to pruning. Regular trimming stimulates fresh, leafy shoots, allowing gardeners to harvest nutritious foliage repeatedly while keeping the tree at a manageable size. Even after heavy pruning, it quickly produces vigorous new growth. Its remarkable combination of productivity and resilience has made moringa a cornerstone of many food forests, permaculture systems, and survival gardens. It supplies nutritious food, organic matter, shade, and long-term food security while requiring very little irrigation once mature. Young trees do benefit from regular watering while their root systems are becoming established, but once fully developed, they demand surprisingly little attention. Moringa perfectly illustrates an important lesson that many experienced gardeners eventually learn. The most valuable food crops are often not the ones requiring constant care, but those that have naturally evolved to flourish under the most challenging conditions. Together, these drought-resistant edible plants remind us that resilience and productivity often go hand in hand. While delicate vegetables struggle whenever temperatures rise and rainfall becomes scarce, hardy crops like moringa continue growing, producing generous harvests and rewarding gardeners year after year with very little effort.